Hello, spiritual warriors. I want to show you something very powerful. This is super exciting. Here are a couple of enneagrams. These two down at the bottom are just the triangle part of the enneagram. But what this is showing is the formula for the ritual service in 2026 that I've been guided to lay out for you, okay? Super exciting. As initiates, the intention is to merge with Ginungagaap, okay, the void, the abyss, the place of all power, and the place of all peace. Little side note, people on the positive polarity, they often will tell me, I don't want power. Well, if you're on the positive polarity, you still can gain spiritual powers with focused practice, focused yogic and spiritual practices, okay? They call these cities in the East, okay? If you're on the path of power, the negative polarity, you will gain cities, but you also have the opportunity to gain peace. Okay, the supreme peace, also known as moksha, liberation, the kingdom of heaven, Buddhahood, etc. Okay, both, no matter which direction we spin our auric field, okay, whether we're taking energy in most of the time or radiating it out, okay, we have the opportunity to achieve both power and peace. It's just that we use it differently. Okay, so I just want to mention that. So the intention, let's start with the line from 1 to 4. This line is the question, what is the intention of the ritual? Which is to merge with the void, the doorway to all power and peace. Boom. From here we go 4 to 2. The question here is, what is the limitation to this intention? And the answer I've heard from several of you already involved in the ritual services is you have time limitations. You may have physical limitations. You might have mental limitations like distractions and such, okay? Stuff going on that, as well. There's different distractions, things pulling on our attention, things that seem to prevent us from moving physically or making time to practice these practices in order to truly integrate this energy, okay? Now the next question becomes, what do we need to do to go around the limitation from 1 to 8, okay? From 2 to 8. And the answer to that's quite simply guided meditation. That's why I created and I built in a Ginungagaap integration meditation, into the schedule for 2026 following the ritual of the golden chain, which is at point 6, okay? So this guided meditation it's not long, it's not elaborate. It's short, it's simple, it's easy to do, and it's something that you can take advantage of in between the cycle at the top of the triangle, okay? Whoops, I dropped my phone. In order to further integrate this energy and enter the door, so to speak, okay? Okay, so moving on here. So from 8 to 5, here is the question. How will the participants retain the benefits of this ritual when I'm not there holding their hand? And this really goes along with the one we did previously, which is the content. Okay, so whether it's the public content or whether it's the content for members only, okay, on the member dashboard, I have tons of content in there, tons. If you're on in the membership, please take advantage of that content. That content is specifically made for you. It goes way deeper than the stuff on the social media posts, okay? It goes way deeper. That's stuff that's not meant for the public. It's for serious practitioners. And you can take this a bite at a time, yeah? Devour it as you see fit. Devour it to your level of hunger and use that and the skills that I teach in there, which a lot of those are real simple meditations, simple movements you can literally do just laying down in bed, okay? Easy to do. But with that repetition, the practices I teach, just repeating those practices and committing to the practices on a regular basis, okay? You're gonna get a lot more value from the ritual service than someone who doesn't watch the content and practice some of the practices. I've also got some easy to read through blog posts and stuff in there too. So really helpful content on how to get more value out of this through your practice that you're already doing. Okay, real easy to build into the practice you're already doing. So boom. So here we are at point 5. The next question is, what's the point of no return? From 5 to 7 here. Okay, what's the point of no return? The answer to that is quite simply, I wrote blood magic, okay? Now, I know a lot of witches and practitioners are like, never do blood magic. They're going to tell you this, never do blood magic. It's the only kind of magic you can't undo. But why would we want to undo the high magic that we are doing on ourselves? Blood magic is extremely traditional, especially in my tradition, in the Norse tradition. Okay, this is, and one of the many reasons I'll tell you, it should only be used for high magic, okay? Because, take it from me, I've practiced a lot of blood magic for the past 2 years. Don't mean much, just a little bit goes a long way, but that regular practice, dang, spiritual warriors, I'm trying not to cuss here. That is essentially a symbol of saying to the universe and to our higher self, I'm committed. I'm doing this. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, when we put our blood on the runes and we open the runes just like I did a year ago when I sat, in silence with my ancestors and the runes for 9 days and 9 nights. And I started that period of time by putting a small drop of my own blood on the runes, little piece of paper that I just laid in a circle. And I sat in the middle of the circle and I opened the runes with my blood, and that was like me saying, I'm committed. I'm in it for the long haul. This is long game for me. I called to my ancestors, and I basically said, this is it. And why wouldn't we want to do that in high magic? This is high magic, spiritual warriors, okay? This is to be used for high magic, okay? Now, you can get some quote-unquote low magic benefit from this, of course. I've had a lot of people, actually everybody who's participated in the ritual, the golden chain, which is on point 6 now, everybody who's come through that ritual with me has told me a day or 2 days after the ritual that they received money, okay? Every single person. So you will likely experience, okay? There's no guarantees, but this is what I've seen, okay? Pretty consistent. You will likely experience some quote-unquote low magic type of benefits, or like everyday life, like, hey, that's cool, this is great benefits, okay, as well. Okay, but anyway, here's the point of no return, and that's the commitment to ourselves and the commitment to our path. That's it. Boom. Now we're at point 7, and the last question here to get us across back to point 1 is, what makes the offer irresistible? Why should I, the initiate, want, and feel that, yeah, this is too good to resist, to merge with the void, to merge with the doorway to power and peace? Why? And the answer to that is, from the dawn of civilization, very advanced cultures, I'm talking ancient Egyptian, ancient Norse, okay? There's way more, way too many to name. Those are the 2 I teach primarily. These advanced civilizations, these cultures, have used this formula, this type of formula, okay, or formulas along these lines, okay, to awaken peace and power. And not just wake it up for a short time, but actually awaken it, commit to that as a practice that says, you know what, I'm going all the way to full awakening here, where every moment of my life is pervaded by this absolute supreme peace, and in our case as well here, power. This connection, this unbreakable connection to the source of all things, which is power itself, okay? This is power itself, the source of all things. When we open this door to, I was going to come back to this here, Ginungagaap is the ancient Norse term for the void, the abyss in the Kabbalistic tradition, okay? If you're familiar with the Kabbalistic tradition, you know that the abyss is like a space that you must cross in order to enter the supernal triad. It is a place of power. It is a place of complete transformation, which leads to power, okay? And in the ancient Egyptian, this is the Duat, okay, the Duat. This is a doorway to universe B. Creating this type of connection, merging with this point of power, this ultimate source point, beyond the understanding of the intellect, the ego, the mind. This doorway to the Dark Mother, the place from which all things arise. That's it. That is the key to unlocking, and specifically for runic initiates, okay? This is the place where we can access the power of the runes, where you, just like I have had experiences with this, okay? And I've heard a lot of other practitioners have this experience, where you can literally draw the runes in your mind's eye on anything, on yourself, on others, on places, on things, whatever. And things happen. You become able to read and write the code of the matrix of the universe, okay? That's one way of describing the runes. They're like codes to creation itself. And I use the Enneagram because this is also like a code to creation, a map of creation, a master of all systems, as Onami would call it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share. This graphic showing, I talked about this in a couple other videos, Niflheim, the land of ice and stillness and rest, okay? Associated with water and ice here in the Norse tradition. Muspelheim, the world of fire, the land of the Jotun. Okay, this is a place of unpredictability and chaos even. This is a place where we become refined. We become deeply energized. This is a place of, it's a power that we can channel, okay? And this is also, because of the connection with fire, deeply connected with the draconian current here as well. And then when we jump off, and take that leap of faith and just surrender to merging into the void, that's when the ecstatic gnosis can happen, okay? The ecstatic embodied gnosis, okay? And here I've got the ritual sigil, symbol for the Norse negatively polarizing service, and the symbol for the ritual of the golden chain. And here I just drew the door here. The door to death. We can understand that as the door to death right there. Okay. So I wanted to share this with you, spiritual warriors. I'm very excited for this. Very excited for this structure, this structured pathway of the ritual service coming up in 2026. The other thing I want to say before I wrap this is that this tension here, I'll go here, between ice and fire, between Niflheim and Muspelheim in the Norse tradition, there's a very specific rune. I'm trying to decide how much I should share right now because I'm still working with this through my initiation, my runic initiation, but there's a very specific rune that holds this tension here and can help us to really effectively channel our chaos. Channeling our chaos into focused power. How do I want to describe this? Channeling our chaos into creating aligned change through embodying this kind of power, okay? This is really, I'm going to say it again here. There's I'm going to probably come back and add more content about this because I don't want to take time here talking about it too much. But there's a specific runic part of the mystery, part of the runic mystery that holds this line here. This is called the black line of magic here by Onami, okay? that holds this tension here, which can really help us as practitioners, especially on the negative polarity, with channeling chaos in a very effective and aligned way. When we do that, we can create aligned change and change our reality with what Onami would call a flick of the wrist, okay? I talk a lot about her right now because I'm studying a lot from her in the coaching with her. But other practitioners describe this in other ways. This very, Jeremiah Schwartz, he used to describe it as, you don't need to do much at all to make massive change in your reality. Aligned change, aligned with the source of all things. Okay, that's the key here. Okay. Because, yeah, we could go off on a big ego trip and be like, oh my God, I'm going to get the ritual service in 2026 here. I'm going to do this triad, this trifecta. Then I can just mess people up and, just let's try it for fun. And let's see what, mayhem we can create. And let's see if I can, make $1 million in 2 days. It doesn't, that's not the use of this. That's not what this is for. Okay. It's not for, what do I want to say? It's not for playing around with. This is for high magic. I keep coming back to that. High magic. Okay. So thanks for joining me. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I know this is really esoteric and quite detailed, and you probably can't read any of my handwriting here. Let me know if you have questions in the comments. Let me know if you've had experiences with these this dynamic tension between these two realms, Muspelheim and Niflheim. If you've worked with Ginungagaap, some of you out there are Norse practitioners, you're Norse witches, okay? Let me know. Now, this is, not everybody may agree with how I'm doing this, that's fine. This is what was given to me, okay? This is how I've been guided. And if you look up Ginungagaap on Wikipedia, you'll read about this type of structure, okay, between the realms. I would love to hear about your thoughts on what you've learned about Ginungagaap specifically and how this fits into that. And I'd love to know if you've participated in one of these rituals, either the Norse negatively polarizing or Ritual of the Golden Chain. If you're one of the members who's come through these services, if you've received some any kind of value or effect that is along these lines of these realms or anything that I've talked about here, whether subtle or pretty blatant, let me know. I would love to hear about how this has woven through your life. Okay, thank you.